when we have these conversations, obviously, there are trains of thought that we know are out there. And a lot of times we're not being very honest about what the train of thought is. I mean,
have friends who have...
You all might be different, but you know, a lot of women, obviously, who...
I hold my friends accountable. I think you're not a good friend if you don't hold your friends accountable. And if you just go and co-sign their BS, you're not helping your friend grow and be a better person.
Right.
So if my friends are violating and thinking, like, again, even when if a woman says that same, you know, I need a man that has this, that, and the other, and they're not bringing anything to the table, sis, you're out of pocket.
Yeah.
Because you can't be one-sided, and that goes for men and women. It's the same thing to me. You know, I see a lot of people that are bringing nothing, and they demand the utmost of everything, men and women as well.
But I don't think men can take it. I don't think they can take not being the man in the relationship, the one that's holding it down. I have a friend, sorry to put her business out, but I have a friend that she's more successful than her guy. And he always say little things like, oh, when you do this, you probably gonna leave me. You probably gonna, you know what I mean? He always on guard, feeling like you feel like you don't need me, or it's always a really insecurity in him not having more money than her, even though she loves him.
But does she, so, and I understand that, but is it something that she's putting out there at the forefront, or is it just him running with how he feels because he simply, you know, is insecure?
I feel that it's insecurity.
Okay, and the only reason I said that is, and I mean, I think Dr. Spirit, you perhaps can elaborate on it. There are some women who, for instance, I know of a woman who pretty much would talk to her man, and he was exemplifying the color purple. He was Seeley in this situation, so to speak. And she would talk to him very harshly and in public. And I think that, you know, the dynamics of their relationship were going to be tough for them to stay together. And I mean, apparently recently they just kind of, you know, he moved out. But I think that, you know, sometimes it's a little hard depending on that interaction, if it's not really, you know, a clear understanding, you know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be just because you're making more money, obviously, because sometimes at different points you might be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think it's all about what he's bringing to the table, clearly, and I think you can see past some things.
It shouldn't be competition in your relationship. Like, I feel if you're looking at your person and saying, like you kind of side-eyeing them because of, like, they're doing better, you just need to end that relationship. It's gonna go downhill from there.
And as a woman that's more successful than a man, I think you made that decision to get with that man knowing his status. So do not take work home and talk to your man as he's less than, he's your employee, or like you're his boss. And you have to be able to know how to turn that off, because you wouldn't want a successful man talking down to you because you don't make as much money as him right now.
Right.
And I think that's wrong as well. But also, who wants to compete with their mate?
Well, see, and then that's to that point. When it becomes a competition, then your relationship is already doomed.
Yeah.
Right? Because what happens is we miss out on the two becoming one. And if two never really become one, then you're doomed to fail. So what I talk to couples about is really about, it's not what I bring to the table and what you bring to the table. Where is your half? Are you matching? Are you meeting me? It is, what are we pooling together? Because if you've got $10 and this is your husband and he's got $6, it's not you got 10 and he's got 6. It's you guys have 16. And your 16 can buy a whole lot more than your 10 alone or his 6. And so if we are not collectively having the shared vision of where we are trying to go into our forevers are going to part ways. It's just the way that it works. And so we really have to be on the same page, but that's what compatibility is all about when you talk about that.
Is it ever really 50-50 though, Dr. Spirit?
It's never 50-50. It's never. And the other part of that is, do you warrant that which you seek? So to your point, when you say these women come and they say, well, I want a man who has this and this and this. Well, what do you bring to the table that complements that, that is going to nurture that, that is going to grow, foster, and further develop that? But then also, do you understand what you're asking for? You say you want a doctor who's a surgeon. Do you recognize what that lifestyle really looks like? You love a man in uniform. You want a firefighter. Do you realize that he's going to be gone or she's going to be gone 4 days a week at the fire station? Are you really ready for that life? And so oftentimes we don't really have a real idea of what it is that we're asking for. And we're not prepared to step into those places to really grow and continue those relationships. They're fantasies. It's not reality.
Good points. Jamal, with you, how important is finances in your relationships, or is it nothing? Is it never mentioned, or is it something that you think about?
I used to think about it. I used to think about it a lot. Now it's different. I mean, she's super finance. She's all, you know what I mean? That's what we talked about. But with me, I'm from the old school. Like I said, I'm 46, so I'm in the 90s. So the way I look at it is how my father raised me to be that man that takes care of the home and all that, be a provider and all that good stuff. But at the same time, it ain't all about us having a balance that she got to bring home the bread, because she might do more than I do in the household. So for the cooking, for the cleaning, for the loving, for the nurturing, for the taking my shit, it's just the same love without the paper. So it depends on how you look at it. 'Cause I got a lot of brothers a lot of friends that be looking for the Barbies and, you know, all that, and they come with nothing. Then I got a lot of friends who look for the old school women, or the old lady, or they old ladies, or whatever they call them, because they know they can get the nurturing, the money, the food, you know what I'm saying?
The Yeezys.
Right, because it depends on what step and what age you are and where you at with it. I'm 46, so I'm next to the 50 goal. As men, that's a big thing. It used to be where we used to think about 30s. Like 30s was the thing. You gonna be 30? Oh man, you done. Then it was 40,
Right.
but now it's the 50. Now it's definitely 50, you gotta have it together. So me, I'd rather I got blessed for somebody with super finance, but I'd rather take the cooking, the loving, the nurturing, just being there for me than anything else.
Could you be with a woman, do you think you'd be secure in a relationship where the woman made a lot larger amount of money than you?
Oh, she killed me at times.
Yeah?
Oh, she busts me at times. She real estate. So at the end of the day, I might wake up, it might be 250,000 on the table, sitting. Me, I gotta work for mine. You see what I'm saying? For me to get 250, 300,000, whatever, I gotta do 38 days, 45 days. Like, you know, man, to tell you, I gotta do 45 days. I gotta put work in for that. All she gotta do is connect the broker and the seller. It's different. She's been doing it 25 years. She's 55. It's a difference. You see what I'm saying?
got a grown
So
one.
our talks is more like she feel like, look, you 46, I'm 55. My question to you, do you have a problem with 55? That's where our talks are at. And I'm like, I have no problem with none of that. And it's just like she said earlier, men like me look for the nurturing, the mothers, something that we know what we want. You know, some bacon and eggs, just being on point. She's on point. I wake up every Friday, my cleanest is done, my clothes is done, I don't have to say anything. She's already there before I can do it. And even if I try to put out what I could put out, she'd be like, nah, I'm good. You see what I'm saying? We just had to talk about a friend that invited us to a wedding, that told his wife at the wedding he will not marry her. And y'all all know who it is, but I can't put it out there. But he will not marry her unless she do a prenup.
He told her at the wedding.
At the wedding.
So she had no warning until the wedding?
She felt like he would warm up, love the wedding, get to the altar, get there, and do it. Nah.
Oh, he said it before.
He said it before and after and felt like she was going to do her part.
Oh, okay.
She never did her part. He got there and said, I know you probably think I was still going to go through with it, but I'm not going through with it until you sign this prenup.